I did it, okay? Alright, so you could, like, stop asking, dude. God. I started One Piece, alright? So after repeated harassment on my Twitter and my YouTube comments by that one guy, you know who you are, I caved, alright? I started One Piece. Really, I figured that this man's level of commitment to try and tie every single book-related thing I post into One Piece, this man must be very committed at it because he is either a hyper fan of something terrible or this thing must be S tier, God tier recommendation. So I figured, alright, let's find out what I'm missing. That was me checking just to make sure I'm still recording. I've had it cut out in the middle before, and I don't want it to do that again. But One Piece. I said, let's find out what I'm missing. Let's get into it, let's do it, let's start it, you know? So yeah. I'm a decent ways in now, and I think the absolute worst thing is that I kind of like it. I actually enjoy it. I think it's pretty good. I'm enjoying the characterization and the world building here, and I like it. So that means we're probably gonna continue it. And yes, before folks ask, I didn't start at the begin. I didn't start at the end. I started at the beginning. I know people. I threaten to start at the end all the time. I've actually committed on it once, and it was actually a great time for me. Horrible time for everyone else who loved this series and got involved. But no, for One Piece, I started at the beginning, right where it starts. Movie 1, baby. Live action. Let's get it. First off, I'm very impressed because I don't know how they managed to fit like over 800 chapters of material into 3 live action movies. I think that's a brilliant feat of writing. And I'm not quite sure how they achieved it, because from what I've been told about these movies, they don't abridge any of the content. They're not, like, dropping out arcs or story beats or anything. It's all there, just in a movie format. And that said, these movies, it's not like I'm sitting down and watching, like, a 6.5-hour movie each. No, like, these things are reasonable, I think, around 2-ish hours. Standard movie length, and yeah, somehow they did it, and I'm hooked. I thought it was fantastic. That said, from what I've heard, there were some creative... While all the story beats are still present, there were some, like, just kind of minor tweaks, some minor creative liberties that were taken within the film, that I kind of have mixed feelings on. They're not necessarily terrible, I just think they're strange choices. I guess the one right off the top of my head is Luffy Laufey. In the manga, his name is Monkey D. Luffy. In the movie, I don't know why they changed his name to Jack. Kind of works, though. I wasn't mad about it. It's just one of those, like, little things that you notice. Also, the Going Merry was like, they changed it to the Black Pearl. I don't think it's the biggest deal there. Sets the tone a little bit differently, but we'll get into that in a second. Lastly, there's like one last change that I'll kind of like really get into, like just kind of a minor thing that I'll get into. Zoro, his name was changed to Will in the movies. Yeah, I mean, it works, it simplifies it. That said, I do think they kept a lot of his character story beats intact. You know, his reluctancy to join the pirates, his kind of his noble standing, that kind of thing. When I say noble standing, I don't mean that he is a noble. I mean, like, a noble of character, that kind of thing. To a degree. Which, yeah, they really do keep that in contact in the movie, and I thought it was fantastic. Brook plays not a larger part. I think they took a little more time to focus on his character within the movies, and that was fantastic. I mean, like, a good chunk of the first movie was dedicated solely to Brook, and I thought that was a pretty good choice there. I think this might be the only movie where whitewashing the cast worked. I also think we human washed them a little bit, but it was fine. Alright, so things I absolutely loved about this adaptation. Phenomenal use of practical and digital and visual effects. It was absolutely stunning, absolutely gorgeous. I'm surprised by how well these movies held up. It's insane. I mean, it's not like they were released like forever ago, but it was still decent enough where I'm like, okay, maybe some of the effects won't hold up as much. Also, I know a lot of fans were worried about, in the adaptation, how they're going to adapt more of a... I would say One Piece heavily relies on its medium, that medium being hand-drawn, it's manga, and there were people who were worried about how they were going to adapt it into live action, and I don't know how they couldn't at this point. Watching these movies, it kind of blows my mind that this was based on a manga, like this, that it follows the manga, like this is the adaptation of that, because in my mind, like One Piece is these live action things now, just because I think they did so well at adapting the way Oda portrays emotions within his characters, and especially the fight sequences. A lot of the devil fruits, phenomenal in this movie. It's absolutely stunning to me how on board Oda was for these adaptations, because he let them finish the Wano arc before Wano even wrapped up in the manga. So this is going to dive into a bit of some One Piece spoilers, especially in the later stuff. You know, if you haven't gotten to Wano, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you might want to click out of here. Wano is currently the current arc going on in the manga that has wrapped up in the movies. I don't know, he gave them permission to do it. He said, here's the outline, here's where it's gonna go, here's how it should end. Go and wrap it up for me out here. But yeah, it's literally one of the best battles I have ever seen, and the lead up to this was absolutely immaculate and stunning. That said, there are some interesting choices that I didn't, you know, you hear about them online and you're not like, oh, how's this gonna go? This is gonna be kind of weird. But they made it work. I'm not usually one for rewriting a female character to be a male lead, but the Big Mom rewrite, actually, it really works wonders for the character. Also, can we talk about, like, the animation on the tentacles? I mean, yes, you know, Big Mom was more human-like within the manga, and we'll get into some of why these changes, like, took place in a second, but just the pure animation on, I guess, his tentacles, they were absolutely stunning and phenomenal. I'm surprised it holds up this well. It's iconic. It's iconic! Like, they literally could not have done better casting with Bill Nye to play Big Mom in this, or Big Papa, Big Daddy, yeah. It's not the first thing I would have chose when you said adapt Big Mom from One Piece, and they picked Bill Nye and Tentacles, and somehow it works. Also, let's not forget the kind of reskinning of her doll collection to be more of a kind of a barnacle themed collection here, and you know, it's one of those things that seems so off base, so off center. Legitimately, like, this works. It meshes things together so well. And sure, it does set up a bit more of an antagonistic feel towards the fishmen within this, because, you know, your barnacle men, they're the villains now under Big Mom, and we kind of human washed the rest of our fishmen. But I think for our introductions, especially thinking back to the Arlong Park introduction here, like, this actually, I think it clicks off very well. Like, that's some good stuff. What amazes me most is how on board Oda was for a lot of these changes. I've said it throughout the entire video, but, like, I'm truly stunned that this gets us closer to his vision for what One Piece should be, should be. This is what he wanted it to be. Listen, after watching these movies, it might have gotten me super into the fandom, so, you know, I'm out there watching all the Oda interviews, all of these kind of things. It was during one of these interviews, and I'm gonna find it, where Oda talks about how adapting One Piece to a live action medium actually got him a lot closer to what he intended One Piece to be in the presentation and how it looks and the themes presented and all this kind of jazz. And I thought it's phenomenal. Here, I'll find it. I'm gonna put it right here, Dom. Actually, just take up the whole screen. Just take up all of it.
Big Mom was supposed to be Big Papa originally in the manga, but the limitations of the medium forced me to make him a her. Thanks to the freedoms granted by live action, it's been easier to craft the Wano arc as I originally intended it to be.
Yeah, so really looking through and watching One Piece, you could say it's almost like the manga is a rough draft, almost like an outline for these movies to go and take it and run with. According to Oda himself, too, which is immaculate. It's amazing. Yeah, I can see why people like this One Piece thing. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. As we all know, I like to end my videos with a huge shout out to all my Patreon subscribers and supporters over there. Today we'll be giving a big shout out to absolutely no one. This is largely due to the fact that I do not have a Patreon account, nor do I have a Patreon page. There is nowhere for anyone to sign up to support this YouTube channel, and maybe we'll fix that in the future, but not today. Thanks everyone.